So, who wants to start the day?
Ramesh.
Oh, what? Such enthusiasm, very rare. Yes, Anasuya. Anasuya? Yes.
Yes, Anastasia.
And?
Johannes.
Johannes, yes.
Since yesterday, this question rose right when you left yesterday.
Yes.
And actually, it's two questions in one,
Yes.
but maybe it's the same thing. I read in Nisargadatta's books that he said, my guru told me only one thing,
Yes.
is to abide in the I am.
Yes.
And the other day you said the sage is always aware of the screen.
Yes.
And is it the same thing?
It is the very same thing, yes.
And could you explain what that means?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but what is it?
Let me complete the question.
Yes, all right.
So it could mean for somebody who
Yes.
tries to understand
Yes.
that there is the continuous remembrance
Yes.
of the thought I am aware of the screen.
Yes.
But this most probably it won't mean.
You see, that awareness of what? When you see the movie,
Yes.
if you are always aware of the screen,
It could mean that there is some effort.
no.
So that would be for the normal person
Yes.
who gets the first time this information. This would be the first
So
result.
the answer is, that has to be there without the effort.
Right. Now I want further to complete the question.
Yes.
I had at 2 points I had experiences that suddenly I was seeing my arm and it was absolutely foreign to me.
Yes.
It happened so suddenly. I was totally shocked. My heart started beating like.
Yes.
It looked like there is some flesh lying on the table,
Yes.
but being alive, and in some strange way I am connected with it,
Yes.
but it is absolutely foreign to me.
Yes.
And at another point it was that after several days of satsangs, it happened that I saw this body walking,
Yes.
and I knew at the same time that I was never walking, that I have never moved a single finger,
Yeah.
because I never had a finger.
That's right.
No. And this was so obvious,
Yes.
this distance. I was totally clear that I ever was pure spirit,
Yes.
and that this body is a mere appearance in this. So now the question for me comes: is this what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is exactly what I mean.
Okay.
That is to say, the walking happens,
Right.
but
right.
there never is the feeling that Johannes is doing the walking.
Yeah. I never had anything to do with this.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Johannes, you really have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
You really have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Either that happens to this body-mind only, or anything that happens to any other body-mind
Right.
only.
Right. And once this perspective is permanent,
Yes.
this is what is called enlightenment.
Well, yes, you could say that, yes. If this is permanent, yes.
This perspective, still for me, during the normal day,
Yes.
this is not the perspective that I have.
So it varies, that's why. It is not permanent, as you say.
Right.
But-
But this, to know this prevents me from any misconceptions of enlightenment.
One, but it also encourages you to hope and expect that it will happen soon.
Not you
So
know,
then that danger too.
No, that I
Don't
I
forget.
don't consider myself to be enlightened or anything like
Yes.
this, because I know this is not the case right now.
Yes.
Right.
So if you are saying, are you progressing well? I would say yes.
Thank you.
You see, basically that's what, is that progress? Yes.
But aware of the screen, is it like aware of the awareness?
Pardon?
I'm not very clear what means aware of the screen. What is the screen?
You see the movie?
Yes.
If what is absent, the movie cannot be seen. Movie is seen because why? Because the screen is there. movie keeps on changing. The scene keeps changing. One movie can be substituted for another movie. But the screen is still there, you see.
So the screen is consciousness.
That is correct.
So aware of consciousness.
You see, the awareness is not that Anasuya is aware of consciousness, but there is awareness of that consciousness never goes. Which means the same thing as there is no sense of Anasuya doing anything. Anasuya not doing anything, everything is just happening. There is never a sense of personal doership, whatever is happening. But the more important thing is that this sense that there is no awareness of doership also extends to the other, which is even more important.
The other meaning the screen, awareness of the
Other
screen.
people.
No, now I'm talking differently. What I'm saying is, Johannes was saying there is no sense of personal doership, where Johannes is concerned. But what I'm saying is, awareness that Johannes is not doing anything, everything is happening through this body-mind organism, even more important, is the acceptance and total understanding. No one else is doing anything either. You see? So if you find that something is happening, and there is always that deep awareness that there is no he or she doing anything, then how can you hate anybody or envy anybody? Everything is just exactly as it is supposed to be. What happens is, there is someone tall and handsome. There is this me, short and ugly. So long as there is a me, considering that I am short and ugly, and he is tall and handsome, there is the discrepancy. There are two body-mind organisms. If the understanding is there, then the understanding is that both forms are created by the same creator subject. And what is functioning through both body-mind organisms is the same creator subject. You see? And that, furthermore, if everybody was handsome, and then there would be boredom. You see, for someone tall and handsome to be appreciated, there has to be someone short and ugly.
So the screen is who I am.
Now, wait a minute.
This
Let me
screen.
put it this way. If all men were tall and handsome, and very few people short and ugly, after a while, whom would the woman choose?
After a while,
Whom would the woman choose? Who will attract the woman? The billions of stars, or few. You see? So it's a relative term.
Ramesh, I had the same question as Anasuya.
Yes.
I haven't got it yet, so I want to see if I can persist a little bit. You said
Go ahead,
the
John.
sage sees the world just as the rest of us sees the world. The sage hears the sounds, sees the colors and shades, cognizes the objects.
Yeah.
The only difference is the sage is aware of the background, is aware of the screen.
No.
That's what you
Here
said.
the question of screen wouldn't arise. Here the question of screen wouldn't arise. What would arise is, you say each one is seen as different. Each one is seen as different. Different expressions of the same unicity. So the understanding is that all the different things that are seen are different appearances of the same unicity.
So that's like saying that in a movie, the flashing lights are all just part of the screen there, or in a television, they're just little flashes of the scintillating on the screen.
Yes.
And as I watch a television screen, I know that light is just flashing lights on a television screen.
Yes. So, the flashing lights, where do they appear?
On that screen.
On the screen.
And
That is my
isn't that
point.
screen just a familiar, very familiar sense of presence?
Oh, fine. That's what I'm saying.
I just want to be sure.
The sense
I mean, that's so simple. That's
The
just a
sense of-
very simple, impersonal sense of presence.
That's right. So if that is there, if you are aware of that, then the variety doesn't matter.
Yes. But how can we not be aware of that?
Oh yeah. You can be unaware of that.
Only when we briefly go to sleep for a while.
No, when you are in deep sleep, then there is this awareness.
No, I didn't mean deep sleep. I meant that other kind of sleep, like when we start to daydream or something like that. Internal dialogue.
Now, let's get back to your question, John.
Okay.
What is your question specifically?
No, I don't have a question now. I got it.
Oh, you got the answer? Oh, great.
And when there is no dream on the screen, there is nothing.
Yes, when there is no individual doing, then what happens? The movie is happening and it's witnessed.
But when there is no movie, this moment there is no movie going on.
In other words, you are saying there is nothing to witness.
Mm.
You are sitting quietly on the seashore.
Yes.
There is nothing to witness.
Yes.
Then what will happen? You will watch the ocean for a while. Afterwards, what will happen on a seer? Your eyes will probably close because there is nothing to see. If there is nothing to see, there is nothing to witness.
Usually this is a time where sleep happens.
So, well, if the sleep
No
does-
satori, no samadhi, no nothing.
if the
Just
sleep
falling
doesn't
asleep.
happen, you see, you cannot sleep unless you are sleepy. If you are sleepy, you need sleep. In that state where there is nothing to be seen, sleep will happen. If the sleep is necessary for the body. But if the body has had sleep, the body does not need sleep, and there is nothing to witness, then what happens? Then there is nothing to witness. Therefore, you close your eyes and you are quiet. That is what I described as the non-witnessing state, where the consciousness is still there. So, you hear the sounds, you smell the smells, but they don't mean anything. Because to whom can something mean? The me. The individual is not there. If the individual is not there, then the witnessing is happening. So the individual continues not to be there, but there is nothing to witness. Then that stage that happens is, what again all labels, don't forget it. I would call it non-witnessing state. Witnessing to non-witnessing, non-witnessing to witnessing is like the automatic change of gears in a car. What happens in a car? The car goes at a certain speed. There is nothing there. But if you see some obstruction there, you put on the brake. And the putting on the brake is hardly a conscious action. So, if you say that the car going there and you are not being particularly aware of anything is the non-witnessing state. But the obstruction is witnessed. Then the foot automatically goes on the brake. When the obstruction is gone, the foot comes off the brake and we are again in the witnessing state. So the witnessing state and the non-witnessing state, one to the other, is extremely natural and simple and almost automatic. The common point being in both there is no me. To think that he is witnessing or he is not witnessing. And if that non-witnessing state is not disturbed for a while, when does the non-witnessing state become the witnessing state?
When the movie starts.
No, forget the movie. The non-witnessing state to the witnessing state, when does it happen? It happens when the non-witnessing state is disturbed. You sit in a hotel lobby. The witnessing state happens. You see people coming in, people going out. All that is witnessed. Impersonally. You don't particularly care who comes and who goes. Then suddenly you see someone whom you think you know. Then the witnessing state is disturbed. And there is personal observation. So, from the witnessing state to be disturbed, something attracts your attention. From the non-witnessing to the witnessing, your name is called or something happens which disturbs the non-witnessing state and you are in the witnessing state. If the non-witnessing state is not disturbed for any length of time, then you go into a deeper state called samadhi, where the sounds are not heard and the smells are not smelled. And you will have to be called really loudly to be disturbed from that state of samadhi.
That's when Ramana could sit and his flesh being eaten by worms and not feeling anything.
That was the deep samadhi, yes. That was very deep samadhi. That was very deep samadhi.
This is what's called sleeping while awake.
If you like.
Yeah, I mean just
If
another
you like.
word.
But
another
why
word.
bother? Why bother?
I'm just tying loose ends, things that I heard and I was trying to understand.
That is the whole point. And so long as there is an anusaya, wanting to understand, that is the biggest obstruction, anusaya. That is why Ramana Maharshi, who wants to know? You understand that that is the position. In the ordinary case, there is involvement, because there is a personal observer observing things and judging. When there is a certain amount of understanding and fairly deep understanding, then this observing gives way to witnessing. And when the witnessing there is gradually drops off, you go into the non-witnessing state. And the non-witnessing state can be disturbed and go back into the witnessing state. It's effortless. There is really no disturbance from the non-witnessing state to the witnessing state. There is really no disturbance. But there is a certain amount of disturbance from the samadhi to the witnessing state. But the most important thing, Anasuya, is that when the involvement stops and these three stages happen, witnessing, non-witnessing and samadhi, when these three states start happening, the most important thing is there is no anasuya to want to give a label to any state. See? That is the important thing. When those three states happen, then there is no anasuya to think of a particular label for a particular state. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
But I wanted to. What about the heart?
Heart?
Heart, because lots of things.
My wife had 2 operations about that.
Oh yeah. Okay. you know, when your heart is moved, or
Yes.
or when you're in satsang and you
Yes.
know somehow connections are made somewhere, and you know your heart goes, or
Yes, your heart goes,
yeah,
and the tears start coming out
Yeah.
of your eyes.
yeah.
Sure.
So
So, the thinking mind says, what is happening? And if the thinking mind is not concerned, Karen wouldn't care a damn what happens, whether the heart bursts out or tears come out. Then Karen would say, all right, whatever happens, let it happen. Why should I be concerned?
well, the concern usually when something like that happens isn't bad. I mean, I'm not worried about it. It feels good.
No, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You see? So, the expectation,
He's laughing at me.
Karen, the expectation is that you are hoping, I would say that's a very good sign. And you are progressing.
No, well, thank you, but no, it's about this, what you're talking about, that the image can't understand the creator. Because when things happen like that,
Yes.
you have this sense of understanding
Yes,
that isn't in your mind,
yes,
and it isn't intellectual,
yes,
and, you know, maybe or maybe not there's a witnesser,
yes.
you don't even know. So it seems as if there's some sense of real understanding
Sure.
that sort of goes through everything.
That's right.
So,
So that understanding is not intellectual, but deep down.
and it has nothing to do with the figure, is what you're saying.
It has nothing to do with it.
The figure in the painting. Because when you say that the figure can't understand the creator
You see,
who painted him,
no,
and then you have an experience
Now wait a minute.
that
You see,
makes you feel that you do.
are using the metaphor of the figure for the metaphor of the character in the movie. You can't compare them.
Huh?
You see, the figure in the painting doesn't have life. This figure has life and a mind, and that's why this figure is asking questions. And what is more, this figure is supposed to ask questions, because this figure, that which is asking the questions, is the ego, the thinking mind. And that ego is created by the source so that life as we know it can happen, and the seeking which has begun through this body-mind organism is part of the functioning of life.
And just where does the heart fit in?
I'm sorry,
Where does the heart fit into this
heart or hurt?
heart?
Heart.
Heart. What I was just talking about, the
Yes.
heart, or even, you know, different example with the heart, when someone has a master and it's very devotional, and
Yes,
you know,
Sure.
it's all about the heart.
yes.
So where does this fit in to what you're saying?
It's part of the process, Karen. It's part of the programming. The programming in this case may be that the programming has brought more heart than mind. In another case, there may be more mind than the heart. So this response of the heart takes a much longer time in someone else where the mind is stronger. So the response is quicker in that programming in which the heart is stronger than the mind.
So heart is just another aspect of the programming,
Yes.
no matter what happens
You
to
can
it.
call the heart sensitivity if you like. You can call the heart sensitivity.
There's no there's no
Receptivity.
spiritual heart center. There's no
You can call this heart is the spiritual heart that we are talking about. Otherwise it's the physical heart.
yeah.
So the heart that we are talking about is the spiritual heart, Karen.
But it's all part of the program.
It is part of the program. So you can call it the spiritual heart, you can call it receptivity. You see?
So no matter what happens in this heart experience, it's all just experiences
Yes.
having nothing to do with the final enlightenment.
Of course it does.
Oh, it does?
Certainly. Because that is now I wasn't joking. If this is happening, it is obvious that there is some progress. There is some let me put it this way. Another concept I have is the seeker seeking is like a seeker climbing a staircase. He or she doesn't know how many steps he or she has to climb.
Yeah.
Maybe 30,000, maybe 3,000, maybe 30. You see? So if the steps to be climbed are only 30, then you can take it that there have been many lives before, not your lives, but lives through which the process has been going on until a body-mind organism is created where only 30 steps have to be climbed. Just as in the case of Ramana Maharshi, a body-mind organism was created with such tremendous receptivity that he had only one step to climb. He had only one step to climb. So supposing in this case there are 30 steps to climb. What I am saying is, as you go nearer the 30, there will be more and more light. Therefore, more and more, the spiritual heart will be kept awakening.
And so, like, the understanding that you talk about, and similarly, the heart, maybe it's all the same thing really, but, you know,
Keeps opening.
everything keeps opening. And,
That's right.
but it's this stuff that's opening is the programming. It's what you're opening to, that's the thing.
Yes, so you're opening to what you are hearing. It may open to what you may read. You see? So to what you will open is part of the destiny. And the opening of it is the part of the programming. The awakening is always sudden. You see? But the process may take 29 steps. So from the 29th to the 30th is sudden. But going up to the 29 steps is a process in the functioning of manifestation. So my main point is, the seeking begins without your choice. And you start climbing the staircase without knowing how many steps. There may be 30,000, there may be 300, there may be 30. And once you start climbing, you can't even say, why should I climb? I'll give up climbing. You can't even say that. So you keep on climbing. Because you didn't decide to climb.
Plus, I don't even know how to climb.
Therefore, I keep saying that the seeking begins with an individual seeker seeking enlightenment as an object which will give him more pleasure and happiness and peace than anything in the world. That is how it begins in most cases. In most cases, the seeking begins with an individual seeker wanting enlightenment as an object which would give him greater pleasure and peace or happiness or whatever you call it, than anything in the world has ever given him. That is how it starts. You see, and it can only end when, by God's grace, or the destiny of the body-mind organism, there is the final, uncontrollable, unconditional acceptance that there never was a seeker. Seeking has been happening. And when that realization happens, that there never was a seeker, then the seeker gets annihilated. And the annihilation of the seeker is the enlightenment. Therefore, I keep saying, Karen, if you had the choice, and you don't have the choice, but if you had the choice of seeking $1 million or seeking self-realization, choose to seek $1 million. Because when you get the $1 million, there will be a caring to enjoy it. You seek self-realization, it happens. There will be no caring to enjoy anything. There will be no caring to enjoy the self-realization. Because self-realization means the annihilation of caring as a seeker.
I got white clouds under my feet and blue skies in my mind. Oh, Guruji, what's happening to me? Is this a divine? My heart, yada-na, yada-na, yada-na. My heart, yada-na-na-na-na-na. These jewels that I found, I'm throwing them all around. Oh, Guruji, what's happening to me? Is this a divine? Oh, yes, oh, my heart. My I got white clouds under my feet and blue skies in my mind. Oh, Guruji, what's happening to me? Is this a divine? Oh, my heart, my heart, these jewels that I found, I'm throwing them all around. Oh, Guruji, what's happening to me? Is this a divine? My heart, oh, my heart, my heart,
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you, Dorothy.
You're welcome.
Where were you hiding all these days?
Sitting quietly.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Adirupa, Omkara Swarupa, Vishvajya Rupa, Maya Baba. तुझी आसक्ति में तुझे गुण गाऊं, तेरे सुखी राहूं सर्वकाल। तुझी श्रोता, तुझी वक्ता, ज्ञानासी अंजना, सर्व होने जाणे तुझा हाती। तुका म्हणे ते नाही मी तो पण, स्वभावे ते कवना कवना लागी। नमो आदिरूपा, ओंकार स्वरूपा, विश्वाज्य रूपा, माय बाबा। माझा भावा तुझे चरणी, तुझे रूप माझे नयनी। माझा भावा तुझे चरणी, नामेका जन्मो जन्मी लोहे सुटका लोहे सुटका माझा भाव तुझे चरणी तुझे रूप माझे नयनी माझा भाव तुझे चरणी त्वा तोडीनी माझी माया त्वा तोडीनी माझी माया मी तो झडलो तुझिया पाया मी तो झडलो तुझिया पाया माझा भावा तुझे चरणी तुझे रूप माझे नयनी माझा भावा तुझे चरणी स्वामजनो कलिले विदेही त्वामजमो कलिले विदेही म्या तुझ धरिले हृदयी हृदयी माझा भाव तुझे चरणी तुझे रूप माझे नयनी माझा भाव तुझे चरणी नामा म्हणे गा सुजाणा नामा म्हणे गा सुजाणा सांग लटिके कोणी कोणा सांग लटिके कोणी कोणा माझा भावा तुझे चरणी तुझे रूप माझे नयनी माझा भावा तुझे चरणी माझा भावा तुझे चरणी माझा भावा तुझे चरणी माझा भावा भाव तुझे चरणी माझा भावा तुझे चरणी जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा देवा सांगो सुख दुःखा देव निवारी भोग जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा घालो देवासीच भार घालो देवासीच भार देव सुखाचा सागर जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा राहो जवणी देवापाशी राहो जवणी देवापाशी आता जडोली पायासी राहो जवणी देवापाशी आता जडोली पायसी तुका म्हणे आम्ही बाणे या देवाची लढीवाणे तुका म्हणे आम्ही बाणे या देवाची लढीवाणे जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा जाऊ देवाची गावा घेऊ तेथेची विसावा आता कोटे धावे माना तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे चरण देखिलिया आता कोटे धावे माना तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे चरण देखिलिया भाग गेला शीण गेला भाग गेला शीण गेला अवघा झाला आनंदा आता कुठे धावे माना तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे चरण देखिलिया प्रेम रसे बैसली मिठी प्रेम रसे बैसली मिठी आवडी लाठी मुखासी आवडी लाठी मुखासी आता कुठे धावे माना तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे चरण देखिलिया तू का म्हणे आम्हा जोगे तू का म्हणे आम्हा जोगे विठ्ठल घोगे खरे माप विठ्ठल घोगे खरे माप विठ्ठल घोगे खरे माप आता कुठे धावे माना तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे चरण देखिलिया आता कुठे धावे माना तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे चरण देखिलिया तुझे रूप चित्ती राहो मुखी तुझे नामा तुझे रूप चित्ती राहो मुखी तुझे नामा देह प्रपंचाचा दास सुखे करो काम सुखे करो काम तुझे रूप चित्ती राहो मुखी तुझे नामा देहदारी जो जो त्याचे विहित नित्य कर्म सदाचार सन्मार्गाचा आगळा न धर्म देहदारी जो जो त्याचे विहित नित्य कर्म सदाचार सन्मार्गाचा आगळा न धर्म तुला आवडे ते हाती घडो नित्य कर्म तुला आवडे ते हाती घडो नित्य कर्म धर्मा देह प्रपंचाचा दास सुखे करो काम सुखे करो काम तुझे रूप चित्ती राहो मुखी तुझे नाम तुझा पदी वाही लाभी देह भाव सारा पुढे अंतराळी आत्मा सोडुनी पसारा तुझा पदी वाही लाभी देह भाव सारा पुढे अंतराळी आत्मा सोडुनी पसारा नाम तुझे घेतो गोरा नाम तुझे घेतो गोरा नाम तुझे घेतो गोरा होऊनी निष्कामा नाम तुझे घेतो गोरा होऊनी निष्कामा देह प्रपंचाचा दास सुखे करो काम सुखे करो काम तुझे रूप चित्ती राहो मुखी तुझे नाम तुझे रूप चित्ती राहो मुखी तुझे नाम पांडुरंग 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 पांडुरंग
Thank you. How is Amma?
She's better.
Better? What is wrong with her heart?
No, it's her leg.
Oh,
She's got
arthritis.
kind of nerves and muscles.
Sure.